You can't know that, she says. You're just a spell. It may be a part of him flows through me, you say. Would not that explain why I'm so amazing? Why I'm so amazing? She purses her lips. I don't want to talk about this. She reaches over and snatches the wand from the table. You put up your hands and surrender. Apologies, I did not mean to upset one so wonderful as you. Her face softens, but she keeps the wand at ready. I have a curiosity within, and like to ask interesting questions, you say. Ask a different one, she says, her voice tense. Why does Ghost, my creator, touch the zombies and make them wiggle about and all, you say? She smiles faintly and lowers her voice. He's tasting their souls, looking for the one. Nerul demands this. Nerul demands this. It is said the Neruls were destroyed, you say. She shakes her head. Not completely. It's a shame too. I like Ghost, especially at first. But then she started. Hades waves her hand, like slowly bubbling up within inside him, gaining strength. She wants her lover's soul, I guess. Ghost tried to get rid of her, tried a bunch of spells, but nothing worked. Now he sorts of works with her to keep her at least a little bit happy, or otherwise it gets bad for him and for others. Well, that must be hard to watch, you say. She nods sadly, drops her wand to the side. I just hope he finds that soul soon. I guess Nerul promised to leave him and everyone else in peace if you can find him. His soul is supposed to be around here. She's quiet as she stares beyond you. Could it be my soul that Nerul seeks? Could my soul be Flarion's soul? She laughs. No. How can you be so sure, you say? You believe you're so important, the center of the multiverse, she says with a chuckle. You're not him, champion. What are you thinking about? Asks Kate, inspecting you. Thinking about you, you say automatically. You hate that question, but this answer is in your experience usually works. About me, how? She says, thinking about like how I like your accent, you say. I'm from another world, Warhorse, she says, raising her arms in the sky dramatically. Her eyes brighten as she smiles large. Being what you are, you cannot understand. In fact, I did not even understand. I thought my world was small. I was wrong. It's liberating to know how vast the multiverse is. Of course, even illiterate and ignorant peasant know about the multiverse, but you nod politely. The excitement of youth, says Egra. Her voice bored. She continues. I was not even in a complete world. I was in a pocket dimension. Yes, I remember that. She shakes her head. A pocket dimension in the abyss. How horrid is that? Completely horrid, you say. I must commend you for your excellent but you're extremely pleasant for one born in the abyss. I met others from there, and so I know what I speak of. Not originally from here, actually, she says. I don't know where I am from, although I aim to find out. You nod agreeably, perfectly natural. That is because I was working on. That is what I was working on now. Before you disturbed me, she says as she walks over and picks up the book she had dropped to the floor. She sets it on the table, but I don't mind taking a break. So tell me, Warhorse, if you do not do riddles, what sort of entertainment were you created for? Then depends on how old you are. You look rather young. That's a good one. Fucking hell, he's making a line on her already. Fucking hell, he's just confirming though. Like, are you old enough for the sort of entertainment I provide? What difference does it make to a spell like you? She says, and you look pretty young yourself. She adds, not as young as you say. She stares at you a moment and look you up and down. I suppose I can appreciate an ethical illusion. She says with a faint smile. I have just turned off age for my own world, and I'm well past the proper age in this one. Anyway, what can you even do for me? There we go again. I shall aid you, says Egra. I do not want your help in this, you say. If you could gain Hades' trust with a little intimacy, you ought to be able to gain some information about this place. I don't know if that's a good idea, because she would be like, how is an illusion touching me? You have a few options. You could start with a nice kiss, that's classic. Alternatively, you could start with a back rub, a skill to learn but extremely useful skill you picked up in your younger years in Windborn at the tutelage of a older experienced woman, the Lockmaster's wife. What do you say? I think I'm gonna go for a back rub, because if she's from like an Earth-like world, I'm pretty damn sure she's not gonna be very appreciative of a straight kiss. Going for a back rub. To start, you say as you smile at her and slowly approach. I should enjoy pleasuring you with a shoulder massage, studying a book for hours, as you have been doing, knots up the shoulders. You think you can touch me? She says. None of the other illusions did that. Oh yes, you say as you slide behind her. You place your hands on her shoulder and part her long hair away. Her dress has a wide collar, allowing you to access her bare upper shoulder. She tenses and yelps as you touch her. Oh my god. Getting her more tense and certainly not your intention. Relax, you whisper as you begin massaging her shoulder. You start off using light pressure. She's warm. She's definitely not a vampire. My god, she repeats. Perhaps you can help her relax by distracting her with a few words. Have you been a magic user long, you say. No, she makes a sound as though she's about to say more, but then she only lets out a hissing sigh. You lean in close to her ear and whisper, I admire such people. It takes much discipline and intellect. Yes, she says, her voice tight. You would admire my friend Maya. She was your creator's favorite. Oh yeah, I remember Maya as well. I think she was the one that pulled us into like a home where we found a super spell. randomly that helped us kill Nerul, which is so weird. Like the last chapter of Medieval Fantasy Wizard's Choice is so weird. Would you like me to lubricate her? Says Egra. Ignoring Egra, you soothingly whisper. If that's true, then maybe he is not such a brilliant wizard after all. She's the one he picked as his vessel. She helped us all escape the abyss. Now he has entrusted her with keeping the barrier up, she says. The barrier, says Egra. Find out about that. The barrier, you whisper as you knead her muscles a little harder. Now she's beginning to relax. Keeping the living out, keeps out everything that ghost can't control. She whispers. Maya stays deep within the pyramid. She doesn't mind all the what, you ask. You're really strong for an illusion, she says, ignoring your question. How long has it been since someone has touched your lovely skin, you ask? Touched my, actually never. Now that's a tragedy, you say. I wonder what else you can do. Can I touch you, she asks. If it would please you, it would please me, you say. Maybe later, I like what's happening right now, she whispers. Maybe you're making yourself comfortable, laughs Egra. Perhaps you should spend the night, maybe live here for a while. There's a knock on the door. Hades' shoulders tense again. She lets out an exasperated sigh. Who's that, you ask? Someone that knocks, says Haiti in a low voice, as though speaking to herself, not the usual. Gets to her feet, crosses the door to a room towards the door. What do? Hide. Instinctively, you immediately spot a place in the corner. Quickly, you creep towards your chosen hiding place, swipe the amulet of Merle off the wall on your way. Soon you're crouched behind a bookcase with the shadows in the room. You should be nearly invisible from the door. You're able to peek out and see what's going on. Hedy unlatches the door and swings it open casually, as though she is not living in a massive catacomb filled with living and dead. Clanking imperiously into the room upon high heels is another very young woman around Hades' age. Also like Hedy, she's expectedly white with jet black hair that flows down from a large crown that rests low on her temple. With jewels laid into it, you think the crown might be made of platinum, which is addition in sapphires and rubies would make it extremely valuable. You tear your eyes off the woman to look over the woman. She's a little slimmer than Hedy. Her posture is ramrod straight. She wears a black ornate dress. Clutching in her one hand is a black wand with a small golden skull at the tip. That's very weird. They begin speaking back and forth in a very strange language. Hedy said she was from the abyss, but this is definitely not the abyssal you've been hearing lately. You catch the word Maya from Hedy. I wager this is her friend Maya, you think. Hedy turns and motions to the room and shrugs. Maya peers around the room and ducks to look under the table. Hedy's probably speaking to Maya, and you catch the programmed illusion. Maya looks spectacly. She recites the words you recognize as being arcane in nature. Her eyes take a bright green glow. You lean back in full cover behind the bookcase, which is everywhere, laughs Egra. Perhaps you will title your biography Rooster and His Many Autobiography, hopefully. Rooster and His Many Witches. You're not sure if there's much of a ring to that title, but you do like the idea of living long enough to write your biography. You hear the clanking of Maya's high heels slowly moving past and then receding into the other room. Rising a peak, you see Hades' loose black hair disappearing into the other room. Now's your chance. You creep out from behind the bookshelf, doing your best to balance not making a sound while moving swiftly. Hades neglected to bolt the door, which is good. However, you know you won't be able to open it silently. These hinges are simply too old and rusty for that. Mustering your speed, you quickly exit, predicting the hinges screech. Now you're in the large circular chamber, a room again. It's dimly lit with only a few green glowing torches on scones, one of which is beside Hades' door above you. You can't even see the far wall on the other side of the chamber. Obviously, the night vision you had gained from the dwarven potion is gone. Obviously, it's been a fucking long time since it's gone. There are a lot of undead close by, doing what appears to be aimless wandering. One mummified corpse turns to you, its milky, lifeless eyes are set upon you. You run as you slip the amulet and roll over your neck. A few other undead that had just started staggering your way suddenly lose interest and resume their aimless shambling. Figuring that Maya Hedy must have heard the door open and shut, you leap into the nearby open sarcophagus. This cold stone box is musty. Thankfully, you're the only resident. Sure enough, you hear squeaking of hinges, followed by a female voice speaking in that strange tongue. You hazard a peek over the rim of the sarcophagus. Maya is looking around intensely. You suppose you could summon an illusion of yourself to greet them and explain that you really were created to amuse Hedy. On the other hand, you could just save your favor and hope they don't find you. Let's make an illusion of yourself, just in case, to get this shit out of the way. Morale increases 1. Peeking over the rim of the sarcophagus, you're able to direct your illusion. You decide to spruce up your look a bit. Your illusion appears wearing a silken breech and tunic. Your pants are a little too tight to be practical, and you add a little, perhaps even more, a little extra bulge to the crotch. There you are, ladies, you say. Maya shouts an arcane word and fires a dark ray out of a wand, skewering your illusion and making it flicker. Your illusionary self smiles. Your greetings is a little colder than I'm accustomed to, but I understand a woman can never be too careful. Maya and Harry are paddling on your illusion in the strange voice. Your illusion raises a hand. Please speak in a tongue I understand. But a sentient illusion, says Maya. I've never heard of it. I cannot amuse a woman as intelligent or refined as Hades by being an idiot, your illusion says, bouncing its eyebrows at Hades. Maya crosses her arms. You fit the description of the man we are looking for. Your illusion shrugs. Maybe my form is inspired by this handsome man. Maya stares at your illusion for a long moment and says, well, Hades, I thought I'd check on you. If you run across any real men, be on your guard. I'm sure I can manage, says Hades a little testily. What the hell? What type of fucking chastity belt fucking cult are they fucking running over here? Like, maintain your purity. What is happening here? I'm sure I can manage, says Hades a little testily. Maya smirks at Hades. I must get back to my duties. It must be nice to have time for. She looks your illusion up and down, such diversions. Maya then turns and starts clacking towards an exit line, towards the exit hallway, veering only slightly to narrowly miss one of the wandering dead. Hades is looking at your illusion with interest. I should come back later, you have your illusion say. It's rather taxing to exist. Your duration is already up, she says, frowning. Right, my duration. Your illusion says with a bow. Until next time, my fair maiden. You will the spell to end, and the illusion shimmers for the barest moment, then disappears. Hades frowns as she stares for a moment at the empty air where your illusion had just been. She then turns and returns back to her quarters, slamming the door behind her. I wonder what duties Maya has to get back to, you wonder. My curious champion should find out, says Egra. Shadowing people is a skill you developed early in the Street of Windborn for the purpose of stealing coin purses, a more difficult task than what you want to do now. You just want to watch where this young woman goes. Quickly leap out of the sarcophagus and follow. Who am I following exactly? Maya? Maya is doing the shield, isn't she? Goes. Quickly you leap out of the sarcophagus and follow. Although Maya is out of sight at the moment, she is easy to tail thanks to the echoing of her shoes, which you can hear even over the groans and shuffling of the wandering dead. After hurrying down a few halls, you spot her ahead, her posture straight, walking with a confident, rapid stride. Silent, you creep after her. Suddenly you creep after her, keeping at a distance as best as you can in case she returns. Well, I was just thinking, just out of turn, that Anuxis, man, he has had it rough. It was so rough. Like, spoiler alert, I'm gonna go full spoilery for a few seconds for the first game, but I mean, the first, when he got fucked over in a castle, his friend died, he became a vampire, a girl he liked became a vampire, then they're getting chased by literally everything, then he almost got cucked by a fucking dragon, and then like fucking Drala showed up, and then he had to go to the abyss, and then had to deal with multiple shit, then get slapped by Azazel while trying to fuck the illusionary self of Nerissa. Oh mother of God, it was awful. And kissing Nerul and killing her, fuck me, that was awful. That was fucking awful. But regardless, so let's move on. It just favors you, but after hurrying down a few halls, you spot her ahead, her posture straight, walking with her confident, rapid stride. Suddenly you creep after her, keeping to the shadows as best as you can in case she turns. It just favors you, says Egra. Without the protection of Nerul to protect you from the undead, you would have been eaten by now. It is certainly true that the moldering walking dead are everywhere. Despite them ignoring you, find it difficult to do the same for them. It wasn't luck that swiped that amulet, it was your ever opportunity-seeking champion that did that. You say, although I will admit I was fortunate to even have the opportunity. What tinge of humility thrown in at the best end of your boast. Says Egra. Maiden Abyss would be proud. I'm not proud of stealing from Hades. She seemed nice enough, you say. That is for a witch in the catacomb of Nerul. And so generous, heaping your benefit of doubt upon those you meet, says Egra. This despite all the times you've been betrayed and betrayed others. Obviously Egra is poking fun at you, but for once it doesn't bother you, particularly as you're certainly distracted by the sight of mummified undead that is tied by legs to a pillar. The creature's hair is wild and partially covering its empty eye socket. It strains against its bond, too stupid to untie the crude knot of the rope that binds it. So what now, Godling, you say? You got your shot at Anuxis and missed, and believe we are now being hunted. Yes, we are accustomed to the latter, says Egra. Yes, Anuxis proved to be more wary than I anticipated. As a mortal, I managed to get the better of a goddess. I suppose should have expected that. As a mortal, that managed to get the better of a goddess. I suppose I should have expected that. Nerul's weakness had been her arrogance. Now that she is combined with a mortal that survives by his own wit, well, that is a power to reckon with. You have that combination as well. We have even managed to get through Anusha's shield, something even Galmagus could not do with the army. I like to reap some benefits of this feat, you say. We shall, says Egra, but first I really think this party needs more guests. Drop the barrier, you guess? Exactly, champion, says Egra. What do you think we are following this witch? Hades said that Maya had something to do with the barrier. So much for curiosity being the cause for Egra. Curiosity being the cause for Egra, urging you to follow Maya. No, as usual, this is about causing chaos. Life increases 3, favor increases 10. I feel like if favor increases in hero, Anuxis would be able to track that, wouldn't he? Egra must be happy with your present course of action because power and healing flows up from her. That's good because you're evidently being led deeper and deeper into the catacombs.